Sometimes the religious don't even understand the concepts that they are discussing. This is a case where Tyler, our theist, thinks that Christianity wins arguments by not even trying to win arguments. And that's a good thing, because Christianity is really, really, really awful at winning, well, anything. So let's watch Tyler mess it all up, coming up next. Here's another little channel called Christian Culture and Coffee, and the host Tyler seems to be an energetic but all too typical representative of irrational Christianity. He's doing it all wrong, but I don't think he really understands why, nor, I suspect, does he care. But today, he wants to explain the worst way to win an argument, and it becomes painfully clear that he doesn't even understand what an argument is. It's really kind of hard to fail worse than that, but let's watch him try.
Hi, I'm Tyler, and for this topic, we're going to be talking about the worst way to win an argument.
Yup, that's pretty much it. Just throw the Bible out there and expect it to carry any weight with anyone who doesn't already buy into it. Now, I'm sure that Tyler didn't realize that he'd be making himself look silly and answering his own question with his own intro, but hey, you take these coincidental victories where you can find them, I guess. But I'm sure that's not what he intended, so let's see where this goes. Go ahead, Tyler. Show us what you've got.
So, the worst way to win an argument is the topic of discussion for today.
You're going to have to be a lot clearer than that. The worst way to win an argument with who? What are you arguing for, and who are you arguing with? That's going to dictate which tactics are more likely to work and which ones are destined to fail. There are a lot of factors here that have to be weighed. Are you talking to a scientist, or are you talking to a crazy person standing on a soapbox on the street corner? All of these require different tactics. Fill us in, Tyler.
We want to be about what Scripture says on approaching an argument, right? Because the fact is, we as Christians have the truth on our side.
Well, that's your claim at least. The problem is, your claim is not defensible in any way in objective reality. In fact, just running around making unsupportable claims is probably among the worst ways to win an argument, so maybe you're really talking about Christian apologetics. That would be a welcome change of pace. An apologist who recognizes just how terrible apologetics actually is. Unfortunately, I don't think that's what he meant. So be more specific and try for some evidence. It can only help.
It doesn't matter if we're talking to a Mormon, an atheist, a Muslim, or just an agnostic about the Christianity, if we don't approach it in a loving manner.
No, we don't care about your attitude. We care about your evidence. We don't care how emotionally comforting you happen to find your beliefs. We care if you can back them up in some rationally valid way. And the unfortunate reality is, you can't. You never have been able to, and you never will be able to. If you could, we'd be Christians. Mormons would be whatever you are. The reason that we aren't is because you aren't doing a good job. You might think that you are, just like Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses think that they are. But you simply are not. You haven't got anything that will rationally and intellectually convince us that you have any clue at all what you're doing. You might want to adjust your methods, otherwise you will just continue to fail.
1 Peter 3:15 says to always be prepared to give a defense for the reason for the hope that is in you. But it also says to do so in gentleness and respect.
But you don't do so, period. That's the problem. The problem is what we're asking for, what we require for us to be convinced, that's not what you're providing. You are going after emotions, and we are simply not interested in what makes you feel good. We want evidence. We want facts. We want to know that the things that you spout have any validity in the real world. And of course, you can't do that. It doesn't matter how you present your case, whether you do it with love and gentleness, or whether you're an ass about it. The fact is, you haven't got anything to present that is going to convince us that you've got a clue. The failure is yours. It is completely on your shoulders. It is literally the worst conceivable way to win an argument. I can't imagine that you could come up with anything worse.
So that is the key. Gentleness and respect.
No, that's not the key. The key is evidence and rationality. The key is not reading out of a book of ancient mythology. It's proving, with evidence, that your book of ancient mythology has anything in it worth listening to. And you can't do that. The key is demonstrating that your ideas about your imaginary friend stand up to any kind of critical scrutiny. You can't do that. The key is doing more than making empty claims. And unfortunately, that's all you've got. You can fail nicely if you really want to, but you're still failing. Do better.
So the worst way that you can win an argument is by trying to win the argument.
That actually makes no sense of any kind, period. Because the very definition of the term argument is an exchange of diverging or opposite views, typically a heated or angry one. Now, granted, it doesn't have to be angry, it doesn't have to be heated. I'm totally fine with having a well-reasoned, rational exchange of ideas, but it still comes down to two different viewpoints and each side trying to convince the other that theirs is correct. The problem is, we tell you very clearly what it will take to convince us, and you have absolutely nothing worthwhile to present. But you won't leave us alone. You failed before you started, yet you keep harassing us with your unsupportable and irrational nonsense. Please, knock it off.
We're not about winning arguments. We want to be focused on winning the person.
But you can't win the person if you can't convince them that your side is intellectually correct. You don't even understand what is going on here. You are completely ignorant of the ground rules. You are not going to be able to be nice, and suddenly we're just going to stop asking for evidence. Nope. You being nice, while it might be appreciated, it isn't convincing anyone of anything. The only thing that will is coming up with objectively defensible evidence that shows that your beliefs actually make rational sense in the real world. When do you think you're going to get around to doing that? Never? Well, of course not, because you can't. And that's why you continually fail.
And that's what it's like being an ambassador for Jesus, is to be gentle, respectful, and loving to the people that we're witnessing to. So with that, we want to make sure that when we're arguing with someone, we don't just come at them with hard facts and not be sensitive to what they're believing in.
Wait a minute. Hard facts? When have you ever had hard facts? Am I missing something here? Where exactly are these hard facts that your specific deity actually exists? Where are your hard facts that your Messiah figure actually rose from the dead? Claims made in a book of mythology, those aren't facts. Those are claims. We are not interested in claims. All you have are claims. It's no wonder you don't get anywhere.
Be sensitive and do so gently and respectfully in considering what their thought process is and where they're coming from.
I'm very clear in what my thought process is. I have one, and you, unfortunately, do not. That may not be sensitive or gentle or any of that other nonsense, but it happens to be true. You are not approaching your beliefs rationally. You are doing so emotionally. You do it because it makes you feel good to do it. You have not been convinced by the weight of rational evidence because there is no rational evidence. That's why we are not convinced. And we tell you that. We explain very clearly what you are doing wrong, and you never get any better. Why is that?
So with that, the worst way, again, that you can win an argument is by being harsh with the person and by trying to just win the argument by giving them the harshest answers.
Actually, that's probably the best way to do it. Keep your emotions to yourself because nobody cares what you feel. Trot out the best evidence that you have and be open-minded if your opponent points out that your so-called evidence fails the rational sniff test. Because if you would do that, there would be very, very few Christians left. Atheists point out just how badly the religious fare, and the religious simply ignore it because it doesn't make them feel good. Emotional comfort is where it's at when it comes to religion. Now, atheists, we just don't care. As I've said before, it's two groups separated by a common language. You can't comprehend rationality, and we don't give a damn about your feelings. You'll have to do a whole lot better than that. When are you going to try?
The key to winning an argument, however, is to be loving, gentle, respectful, and to be considerate of where the person is coming from.
That's exactly how cults win converts, you know? Granted, Christianity is a cult. You can look at lists of cult-like behavior, and Christianity uses all of them. They hide their true intent. They make their beliefs look harmless and comforting until people are in so deep that they can be shown the reality of the cult. They instill fear, usually in this case, the fear of God and sin and eternal damnation. They love bomb and treat new converts as part of the family, which is exactly what Tyler is doing here. It breaks down rational barriers and encourages groupthink. Religion practices elitism. You are part of the one true way by adopting their beliefs. That makes you inherently better than everyone else. Then it practices shunning on some level, and this is true of Christianity by putting down other religions and insisting that the members have to bring all of their family and friends into the fold. Those that don't, well, you're not really supposed to expose yourselves to those people anymore, are you? Some sects are certainly more obvious about it than others, but there's always that idea in the back of your mind that if they're not part of your religious in-group, then they shouldn't really be part of your life. Now, there's a lot of other signs too, but Christianity fits all of them. It's really kind of pathetic.
Thank you for watching this video on the worst way to win an argument.
Strange game. The only winning move is not to play.
You're welcome, Tyler. Too bad you don't recognize that you are engaged in the worst way to win an argument. Arguments are, by definition, not love fests. They are an exchange of information for evaluation by the other side. Under the best of circumstances, the two sides will come to some kind of a mutual agreement based on the best supported evidence that gets presented. And that's never your side, Tyler. Not ever. Now, it might make you feel good to think that it is. Delusion always makes you feel like you're in the right, but you have nothing convincing to say to the rest of us. You just have emotional assertions to make, without evidence, that don't prove a damn thing. So long as that's the case, you will never win. Yet you keep trying. You know, there's something about the definition of insanity in there, I think. Maybe you ought to look it up. because you're not impressing anyone. You have nothing to impress anyone with. You really need to do something about that. Either you'll drop this religious nonsense that you've been spouting, or you'll stop bothering the rest of us who already know better. Either way, it's going to be a dramatic improvement. Please, Tyler, give it a shot, won't you?
Bum